So, Larry Elder destroys TMZ? Coming right up. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense, Logic, and Reason. And as always, I want to say thank y'all for joining me today. So, I've said before that I'm a huge fan of Larry Elders. He just resonates with me. Why? Because he's just a voice, the poster board of common sense, logic, and reason, fact, evidence, and data. Like I said, I've never seen anyone that has as much information, as much data, as much statistical information, as many studies as Larry Elder, and a person who can recite it and recall it at the drop of a hat. I've never seen anyone who can do that as well as he does. I mean, I've seen some very sharp conservatives out there. I don't think I've ever seen anyone who's on the ball quick with the information as he is. Anyway, he was on TMZ, and I'm surprised they had him on there, because usually when Larry Elder goes somewhere, he tears it up. He really wins a debate. Ask Dave Rubin. I mean, he literally single-handed took Dave Rubin from being a moderate to a conservative. But I don't really watch TMZ that much. The only thing I really know of TMZ is if you want to know if somebody died, they'll have the info. So let's go into the video.
At the same time, Donald Trump is touting that he feels he has been better for African Americans than anybody except possibly Abraham Lincoln.
Possibly.
And he's trying to paint a fairly rosy picture of what it's like for Black people in America under his tutelage. So how do you square the two?
This man is doing something about the economy before the coronavirus pandemic, historically low unemployment. The man has signed the First Step Act, which allowed something like 5,000, mostly Black men, to have their sentences reconsidered and reduced an average of about 75 months. He's also spent more money on enterprise zones. He's put funding on HBCUs for the first time over a period of 10 years. No one's ever done that before.
Okay, so Donald Trump said he's the best thing for Black people since Abraham Lincoln. And who cares? I mean, is that really the important thing that we need to be focused on? A man who known for being hyperbolous, who speaks in hyperbole, that's just Donald Trump's behavior. He's always been that way. But I don't see a problem with someone speaking in hyperbole. He's not doing anything to Black people. He's never harmed any Black people. And they claim that what he did with the Central Park 5, he just simply put articles in the newspaper. That didn't cause any harm to any damn body. But meanwhile, these same people have no problem with rappers rapping and always being hyperboles. I can't think of anything more hyperbolous than hip hop. But the fact is that Donald Trump has done plenty of things for Black people, as Larry Elder stated. We had a good economy until COVID hit. We had one of the best economies that we've had in a while, all because of common sense, logical policy. And the unemployment was low, right? And then he introduced the First Step Act, where he attempted to try to get a lot of blacks out of jail. They won't give him credit for that, right? He expanded the enterprise zones, and again, the enterprise zones is out there for anybody to take advantage of. And there are a lot of Black people saying that, well, white folks took advantage of the enterprise zone. Well, why aren't Black people doing it? I saw this, remember, on that Revolt Summit, T.I. made that comment. Well, T.I., why didn't you take advantage of it if you got white folks' money, T.I.? And any Black person, that's always the issue with Black folks, crying and complaining about these programs that go to other people that were created for us, but you're not taking advantage of it, but you're going to hit on other people for doing it. And then he funded the HBCUs for multiple years, I think like 10 plus years or something like that. Instead of these HBCUs having to go grovel to government and the Congress every year to get funded, he funded them out. It's absolutely amazing how Black people still keep hating on this man, still refuse to give him credit for the good that he did for Black people. And I've heard so many people who just like you had idiots celebrating Kevin Samuels, that I've heard Blacks say they would celebrate if he died. It's just absolutely despicable, the hypocrisy of these people. But would lose their mind if somebody celebrated the death of Obama. But moving on.
The president is also saying that there is no systemic racism in America, there is no systemic racism in policing. And
There isn't.
Okay.
Again, I've said this numerous times before. There is zero evidence of any systemic racism in America. Any system or any black person being held back because any system, any laws holding them back. The only system that's holding black people back are us and what we, in our own lack thereof, and what we do to ourselves in the victimhood. This is the system of victimhood that's holding black people back, not no systemic racism. And you keep asking black folks, where's all this systemic racism? Tell me how the systemic racism is holding you back, stopping you from achieving your goals in life. I never heard one single person say this. It loves how they always gotta run to, the group collective oppression in order to prove evidence of racism. And this is why you do not allow group collective oppression. You get any black person come to you, or a white person come to you crying about systemic racism, you make sure you get them to tell you how they personally are being held back. And if there's all this white supremacy and systemic white supremacy holding a black man back, they should have no problem whatsoever ever telling you how it's personally stopping them, but never allow group collective oppression.
Larry, you're from Los Angeles, and you know what happened with the Rampart Division. It was an incredible scandal where they were going into the inner city and they were setting people up and planting drugs and doing all this stuff. I mean, this has been going on for a long time.
Now, I'm not familiar with this LAPD Rampart Division. I never heard of this before, how they were basically quote-unquote planting drugs on black people. I never heard of this before. I've heard of these stories of police officers, quote-unquote, these crooked cops planting drugs. But black people are not mass incarcerated in mass because no police officers planting no drugs. That's BS. We're incarcerated in mass because we commit mass crime. That's just all there is to it. But I'm going to have to do some research into this Rampart Division, because obviously there's more information there. There's always more information involved when you're dealing with leftists.
A cop watching somebody run away, a black man run away, shooting him and killing him. A guy walking into a convenience store, shooting him and killing him. Larry.
So a cop shoots a man running away, kills a man running away, and a cop shoots and kills a black man in the convenience store. How does that equal to racism? That is not evidence of any racism. Again, they just love to give you these end results of something that basically impacts black people negatively as racism, but they never go into the story. You need to investigate each of these cases and show me where there was racism involved. There was racism. Just because a white cop shoots a black person does not equal to racism. You have to prove that it's racism. You have to prove that the cop was quote-unquote racist. And it should be quite easy if you just do an investigation. But surprisingly, not surprisingly, truthfully, the majority of people killed in this country by police officers, the police officers were justified in their actions. That's a fact.
I hear what you're saying about the studies.
Harvey, let me try it this way. There are 50 million police-civilian interactions every single year. Out of that 50 million, there are 11 million arrests. Out of that 11 million arrests, 60,000 officers are assaulted. Out of all of that, 1,000 civilians are killed. Half of them are white, 250 of them were black. Almost all of them were resisting with a weapon or resisting violently. When you get down to unarmed black men being shot by white cops, you're talking about less than 4% of the total. And unarmed does not mean not dangerous. Michael Brown was unarmed, but he was reasonably perceived as dangerous. It is rare, Harvey, you guys are exaggerating this. When a white person gets killed by a cop, nobody gives a damn. When a black person gets killed by a cop, people are out in the streets. And in Philadelphia, you're talking about a city where the captain of the city council is black. Almost every single member of city council is a Democrat. They've had black mayors. The police chief is a black female, and you're still talking about systemic racism. It's ridiculous. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, really. You're making the country worse.
Larry, I'm going to be very clear about something.
Hold on, Charles.
I sleep just
am not ashamed of myself.
And maybe you do too, and that's fine. So we're going to disagree on this.
Maybe you should be. Maybe you should be, Larry, because there is a problem. There is a problem in this country.
Not on your side.
And you are.
And this is why I'm such a huge fan of Larry Elder. Again, as I said, nobody can recite the data and facts like he does. I mean, he just destroys people with the evidence, as you can see there. You know, and you can't argue against the evidence, but the left seems to somehow try to manage to do so. They always try to manage to do so because they can't bring forward the evidence to support their argument. Trust me, when the evidence supports their argument, they will bring it forward. Absolutely.
Maybe you should be, Larry, because there is a
The facts are on
problem
my
in this
side.
country.
The facts,
There is
the
a
facts are on my
problem
side.
in
The
this
facts are
country,
not on your side,
and you are
gentlemen.
relying on statistics, and you are not looking at
It's
humanity,
called
Larry.
facts.
And there it is. I mean, this is typical leftist behavior. Only a leftist person can make an idiotic statement like that. You rely on facts and not the humanity. That's absolute BS. So what else are you supposed to rely on in a debate? What, he's supposed to bring a crowbar? Or perhaps what, he's supposed to rely on dance moves like he's a 5 heartbeat or something? Or temptation? Of course you're going to bring facts to a debate. You prove your case with the facts, evidence, and data. More proof of the insanity of the left, that's right there. That pretty much sums up how insane these people are.
Talk about, you want to bring up a study that was done 23 years ago?
The relevance of it is, wouldn't you think that America was more racist in 1997 than now? Even then, black kids.
No, actually,
No,
I think it's
actually, I
it's
wouldn't.
more racist now than it was in '97. Because I think
why
people
is
are.
it you guys are so intent on
Larry,
improving the country?
Larry, let me
Actually,
Larry,
I don't-
hold on,
hold on,
hold on. Larry,
Why
I want to
is it
say
so
why.
intent on improving a country that has
Larry,
been so
Larry, please.
beneficial?
Larry, please. I'm going to tell you why I think it's more racist, and then I want to give you the final word, okay?
Thank you.
I think it's more racist because of Donald Trump, because of the things he says, and he has given permission. Let me just make my point. You get the final word. He has given people permission to be racist. He has given people permission to be violent. He has talked about liberating states. He has talked about white supremacist groups standing by. He is deliberately not using the proper pronunciation of Kamala Harris's name. He is doing a lot of stuff that sounds racist, that is giving people permission. And that's why I think we're seeing this influx of racism, which I believe is worse than in 1997. You have the last word. You have the last word.
And this is more leftist nonsense here. They consistently say this about Donald Trump. These people will lie like there's no tomorrow. And they think people are supposed to accept their lie. No, Donald Trump, how did Donald Trump supposedly give these permission to these to people to be racist? Who? What group? Name them. Name me these white supremacist groups that supposedly got the permission from Trump, the okay from Donald Trump to start being racist, and what racism based upon what actions. Can anyone show me the evidence of all these white supremacists being racist because Donald Trump is in office? Now, what do they probably mean? Or what do they mean? More people were getting vocal. More conservative people were getting vocal. And in their eyes, white people getting more vocal, conservative whites getting more vocal, equals to their being racist. The left does this all the time. They did the same thing. They did the same with the Proud Boys. They call the Proud Boys racist, even though the Proud Boys is not a racist organization. It has nothing at all to do with racism. It's an organization of pro-men, pro-chauvinism, pro-men being men, pro-gender roles. Has nothing to do with racist. They are not a racist organization, and it's an organization with white men in the Proud Boys. I've seen Hispanic Proud Boys, Asian Proud Boys, Black Proud Boys. So the fact that they're saying that the Proud Boys is a race organization lets you know just how much they have to reach and how little research they do. But Donald Trump is not supporting no white supremacist group. This is utter nonsense. But these people will keep telling these lies. Anyway, as y'all can see, Larry Elder pretty much destroyed these idiots. Or what is it, the guy at Harvard living. Like I said, I don't really watch TMZ. All I know is the white guy and the black dude, light skinny black dude crying about being oppressed, all this racism. It's just idiotic. You're so oppressed as a black man, but here you are on this TV, and I'm pretty sure he ain't broke. His family is eating well, being on that TV, on that TV show. It's ridiculous. But y'all, like I said, you want to see evidence why I can never be a liberal leftist? That here is perfect answer. This video is perfect evidence of why I can never be a liberal leftist. There's evidence everywhere. of how insane these people on the left are. But like I said, Larry Elder pretty much destroyed him, as he always do, in true Larry Elder fashion. But anyway, y'all, as always, until next time.